to the season 7 premiere of The Walking Dead. You have 5 seconds to shut this podcast off if you have not seen the season premiere. Spoilers in 5, spoilers in 4, and 3, 2, 1. That's it. You've been warned. So we got to watch some skulls get bashed in, and we got to watch some people having flashbacks. I am, as always, your zombified 30-something, joined by...
And I don't know what kind of liars you guys are used to dealing with, but I am the guest host who always keeps his word, Thomas.
Oh, look at you being creative and stuff.
A little bit.
So, what in the first, were you a little agitated we didn't get right to it, or were you faked out?
I knew they were going to play a little bit. I knew they were going to play with us. Everybody's been having these expectations for the past 7 to 8 months, and I knew they were going to drag it out a little bit. But ultimately, I don't know, it went pretty well.
So when that first flash back or possible where it was Rosita getting hit, did you go, oh no, is that who it was? Where he was kind of like seeing the person with the bat and then he would have like those flashes of memories?
Absolutely. Wait, wasn't that was during the RV scene, right?
No, in the very beginning where he's redoing the eeny, meeny, miny, mo part, it showed her, and I think it was Aaron, that kind of did it just showed the bat in their face, and then he did like some kind of like vivid memories of them.
Right. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. It was messing with me a little bit in the very beginning. I thought it was cool. I liked it a lot.
I was very freaked out because I'm like, you're killing the hot chick? Are you kidding me?
They never will.
Yeah, that's because I'm a pig, but you know. Well, you know what happens when the ladies are gone. Brian doesn't like to do numbers. Brian doesn't like to do guest spot of the week or whatever that may be.
No. I knew you were going to pull something like this. And well, first off, I just wanted to thank you and Dianne and Rob Southgate. This is an awesome opportunity. I've been a big fan of the show for, I don't know, like 2 years. And, even going back with Kirk and Jeff. And I love what Dianne has done with the show, and I love what you've done with the show, and I thank you guys for letting me on. This is really cool, and I'm a little nervous, but I'm gonna play it.
Just keep drinking, man. Just keep drinking.
But yeah, I knew you were gonna do something like this, so just to show a little love to Dianne, I thought I'd put together a little cast member of the week.
Oh, my authority is already being undermined 3 minutes into the new show. Perfect.
But what I put together, I don't think you guys have ever done them before, but the director of this episode is Greg Nicotero, and I don't know if everybody knows that he's a writer and a director and special effects guy for The Walking Dead, but I did a little bit of research on him, and when you look at how he's come up within the industry, it's pretty amazing. But Gregory Nicotero was born March 15th, 1963 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I did extensive research trying to identify who his parents and his siblings are. And for some reason, it's really hard. I couldn't find anything. But the coolest thing out of all this jibber jabber is so he was on vacation with his parents, his family, in Rome, Italy in 1977. And they're out to dinner one night, and they're at this restaurant, and who else is there sitting right next to them at a table? And it's George A. Romero, the guy who made
Oh, no kidding. Yeah.
Night of the Living Dead. Yeah. And so he goes over, Greg's, like all of us, young kids, big fans of horror movies. So he goes up and he asks for his autograph, and they're talking, and George invites him to the set of Dawn of the Dead, and they're filming in Pittsburgh. So when he gets back, he goes, like him and his younger brother get to hang out on set and watch the filming. So that's pretty amazing. And then he invites him back again in 1982 to like help as just help on set. and that's when he met Tom Savini. And Tom Savini is, a really famous makeup artist and effects guy for, Friday the 13th, Maniac, The Prowler, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Like, he's, pretty epic within the industry. And so he meets Tom Savini. And then in 1984, they offer him his first gig on the set of Day of the Dead as Tom Savini's assistant. And so he drops out of medical school to go make some slouch horror movie. And, the rest is history. Like, he's been involved with 168 films. He's won 4 Primetime Emmys. And, I mean, he's made, just not movies like Dawn of the Dead, but he's made The Green Mile. He's been associated with every single Quentin Tarantino movie.
Oh, really? That's a cool tidbit.
Yeah, like Chronicles of Narnia, like
Wow.
things you would never expect. Like he's just like so entrenched within the industry. It's pretty sweet, and I just wasn't sure if anybody was aware of that. And I thought it was a really cool story.
That was actually really cool because he always pays homage to George Romero all
Oh,
the time.
absolutely.
All the time. And now you know why.
Hmm.
He single-handedly had a hand in his direction and guidance. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Look at that. I think I've been replaced maybe here. Jeez.
Oh yeah, and then the meaning of the title of the episode.
Yes.
Do you got anything on that? Because I did some research and got something pretty cool.
Well,
But
is it from the season finale?
absolutely.
Yeah, I was kind of doing this in between because I do the fantasy football podcast and stuff. So I was trying to do this in between. I'm like, that comes from the right hand man's line when him and Rick. But you got it on paper, it sounds like.
Yeah, well, so the day will come when you won't be. So, season 1 finale, when they're at the CDC and the doctor had locked them in, he wasn't going to let them out, and our group is basically like begging him to let them out, and Dr. Jenner finally opens up the doors with a few minutes to spare, and Rick looks at him and says, thank you for giving, thank you for this, I'm so thankful. And he says, a day will come when you won't be. And I think today is that day. I don't know.
Wow. Look at you. So I thought it came from the season 6 finale.
Oh.
Where Rick rolls up, they're trying to get Maggie across, and he rolls up to the right hand man.
Oh, gotcha.
I was wondering if that's where it is, but that is really cool. That is that totally bringing it all the way back to season 1. Look at you, man,
Yeah, I'm a huge nerd.
kicking some ass. That's awesome, dude. Well, I have officially been schooled as my authority has been undermined in a very good way. That's really cool. I'm really happy with that. That was awesome. All the way back to season 1. God,
Mhm.
you could have gave me that tidbit ahead of time. Jeez, I'm like shell shocked from it.
Well, I have like 5 pages of notes here, so if we would have just chatted through this beforehand, we would have been recording like at 1 a.m. So.
Oh, that's not good. I got to work in the morning. It sucks.
Yeah, me too.
So if you are wondering, listeners, where the ladies are, they've got a bunch of other things. People are DVRing it. They're watching it at a later time. Our plan is they do a girls only episode. So you're getting a guys only episode now, and you're going to get the girls episode later on in the week. So that's what we're hoping to do because we didn't want to cut anybody out, and we want everybody to kind of be inclusive, but we wanted to get at least one episode to you up right away. So this is it. Let's jump right into it. Let's hit our epic fails, and then we'll get into the whole rotten potpourri thing. So why don't you, our guest, Thomas, kick it off?
All right, so well, first off, I'm going to give this episode a ranking of 4.85 snot bubbles.
Oh man, yes.
Like I'm watching, I'm completely petrified just watching Rick get, just neutered by Negan, and then all of a sudden he's just like, please, and I see this snot bubble, and I'm like, oh my god, I almost cried, and I knew exactly what my ranking was going to be right away. I just jotted that down, but yeah, my epic is Jeffrey Dean Morgan. dude's a beast. Like, I don't know. There's just something about him. Like, maybe it's the way that Greg shot him, or the way he directed him. But I never really was that big into the comic. I've read a little bit into the comics, but everybody's seen pictures of Negan from the comic, and it was just pretty amazing, the way, like, his face, the lighting on his face, just the looks that he was giving. Like, he just seems so, like, sinister and brutal and ruthless and sadistic, and I love it, man. Like, dude's a beast. And I have this theory that what they're going to do is they're going to try to, because, like, Rick's arc has come full circle so many times. He went from being, like, the good cop to the ruthless killer to the farmer to the psychopath who's talking to his dead wife on the phone. And it's just like his arc just keeps on going and going. And to keep a show like this fresh, and the main character of the show fresh, that you have to figure out new things to do. And I think what they're going to do is they're basically going to make Rick the bad guy and Negan the good guy.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Because, like, the shades of, black and white, it's like a totally gray area. Like, there isn't good or bad anymore. It's just who we're invested with. And, like, Rick and Negan are pretty much the same guy, like, the only difference is that we're just invested with Rick. We're invested with our group. And so watching Glenn get beat to death is, life-shattering. But just a couple episodes ago, our group was sneaking into a compound and stabbing people in their heads while they slept. And if it was vice versa, if we had watched their story for so long, we would think that they were the monsters.
Yep, absolutely.
And I just think that's, I don't know. I think they're going to do something where, like, Rick becomes the bad guy. And from what I understand, like, Carl has a relationship with Negan in the comic book, like almost like a fatherly relationship with him. And I just think that would be completely twisted to see, like, Rick lose all control. Like, his people start turning against him. And, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, he's handsome dude. He's charismatic. He's funny. And I don't think it'll be very hard to get people to start liking him, So that's my epic. It's Negan. He's here and he's badass, and I love it.
No, that was actually really good. That was really cool. I do like Negan. I loved how he just had that way in his vibe, like you said. He just carried himself in a way that just, when you're watching, it's like, I don't know if I want to follow you or if I want to punch you in your teeth. Like,
right.
You're really cool, but you're pissing me off. He's kind of like Billy Idol. It's like, you make good tunes, but I really don't like you, but you're kind of cool.
Very good. Yeah. I don't know. Like, when he was gonna make Rick cut Carl's arm off, I was just like, oh man, like, I couldn't even handle it. I was about to lose it.
So my rating, to kind of go back, I don't know why I was saving it for the end. My rating was a 4.5 sliced salamis out of 5, because when you said that arm thing, it just clicked in my head that I didn't do that.
Gotcha.
So my epic was Negan as well, but him forcing and controlling Rick like he has never been done to before. Mm-hmm. So when Negan is just simply saying, yeah, take that axe. It's right there. Go ahead. The best thing for you is to bury it in the back of my skull. And he left it there intentionally to prove to Rick, I am stronger and I am faster than you. Mm-hmm. And he pulls the gun. And Rick just admits defeat. And he's stronger than fast. I mean, he breaks him like a dog.
Yeah.
Go get my axe. Go get my axe. And just that whole scene where he's just forcing Rick to see. Think about what I have done. Think about what has happened, and think about what will happen. And you can, in that moment, you realize that Negan is a career professional at this.
Right.
He knows exactly what to say, do, and how to break you into giving him everything. everything. So that to me was the epic of just seeing, and it all goes into exactly what you're saying. It's the whole character, top to bottom, from the matching coat to his swagger to his charisma, just everything about it. It works and it is awesome.
Absolutely.
Even his vampire bat.
What did he say? What did he say when he put it like in Rosita's face and he was just like, she's sloppy or something? I was like, oh damn, is he gonna make them like suck his bat off? Like,
Well,
what is going on here?
I thought he was going to like no, lick it, lick the bat,
Right.
or the next person is going to die. Like
Right.
kiss it with this blood. Like I was hoping he was going to get to that point. But they, it just kind of, I think there was more to it. There wasn't much else he could gain from that, giving everything else that happens after that scene. So,
Right.
so my fail on the day was, and this is we have to review this. We have, since we start a new season, we have to review our fail and epic fail. Fail isn't exactly what the show did wrong, and we're not just nitpicking to point out. It's more about things that we would have liked to see or we wished would have happened. Or you maybe do find a nitpicky thing. So my fail was, I think there was so much pent up tension of getting to this big release that you actually didn't realize this episode wasn't much to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I totally. Yeah. So like, I don't know. It seemed like you watched the conversation and they like and they never left the room. It was like, I don't know. It seemed like real small for like how epic and how big the episode was. It seemed really small, and I don't know.
Well, so most episodes are over a day or two or three or a week.
Mm-hmm.
This episode was really only over maybe 5 hours.
Right.
So that's why it felt like, God, nothing like really happened. If you take away the skull bash things, they literally just sat there in the cold for a few hours.
Right.
And that's I think is what really the point was, is to really just drive home that this was the big pivot in everybody's life, and we need an entire episode to these few hours to really
Right.
kind of dedicate to that, so you
Yeah.
understand.
This is what we've been waiting for. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess we would have been pretty upset if they would have, this episode would have came and went, and they would have, spent maybe 5 or 10 minutes on Lucille doing her work, and then they would have flashed forward a couple months. I guess everybody's been waiting for the past 8 months for this episode, and I guess it's only right to linger on the events for a while.
Yeah,
So,
and I think even the next episode, I don't think we're going forward in time at all. I think we're just going to that same day, and maybe even the next day.
yeah, I don't know. I have to give a little shout out to I have a buddy I work with. His name's Kyle Olson, and we basically have our own. We go outside for a 5-minute break, and we end up being out there for like 30 minutes, and we
Yep.
talk every Monday. We talk about the show. But I mean, he predicted Abraham was gonna be killed last season, and he hit me with this whole idea that Denise died the same exact way as Abraham did in the comic, and she had a can of Orange Crush, and so Abraham's head was orange and was going to be crushed.
Oh,
and now I owe him $10, and I told him that if he was right, I would say that on this podcast. So go to hell, buddy. But
yeah, you can eat a turd burger.
But
That was fun though. Orange Crush, and then his head is orange and Crush, which Negan's joke was his head was red already. Now it's red for good, or whatever he said, and something like that. So what's your fail?
I guess I don't know. Like I'm a huge fan of the show, and it's really hard for me to find anything wrong with the show. Like, I listen to you guys, I listen to the podcast every week, and it's just you guys come up with some stuff, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about? That was amazing. But but I had to find something, and so the thing that disappointed me the most was the fake out kills when Negan takes Rick and he's like, go get my axe, and he goes out. Which this will also be my rotten potpourri. Like the scene was shot amazingly, but what I didn't like about it was when Rick starts to fight his way back to the RV, and you start seeing flashbacks of like Rosita being shot and Carl being shot and everybody else is being killed. And my wife looks at me and she's like, did he kill everybody? Is everybody gone except for Rick? And at first it was kind of like, oh my God, like I couldn't believe it. But then after a while, I just was like, no, man, this is kind of lame. Like they're just like playing with our emotions now. And
You bet.
I mean, it was cool, but that was, I don't know, I didn't like it.
So now, like when we were talking about last season, where they said, "No, they made all the cast film their own death scenes, so nobody knows." That was all complete fake out because you only filmed one Glenn bashing with his eye and like, "I love you."
Wait. Did they say that? They filmed every person was filmed getting killed?
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
So that way nobody would know. And I told Diane, I'm like, they're just saying that so we quit asking, which it
Right.
never stopped people from asking. But no, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, that you were a little sad that they just kept trolling you,
Right.
We've
First
been
we got Abe. We got Abe. Abe was killed, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And then Negan starts playing around. And you can just see him lingering by Glenn, and then he kills Glenn, and it's just like, it just rips your heart out. And then it's just like, well, we also killed Michonne, and we're gonna kill Carl. And I don't know, it just felt too rich. It was just too much, and I didn't like it.
I understand. Do you have an epic fail then, since you had such a hard time?
I do. It was the dinner scene at the end. I thought it was totally lame.
Yeah.
It was like real cheesy. It was like One Tree Hill or something. Like
Oh, that's funny.
I don't know. I was like, what? What is going on? I mean, it was sweet. It was nice, but
But
I
it
thought
drove home the point, though, right? I mean, when he says, you thought you were gonna sit around and grow old together, and it's not how it works.
right,
And Rick really did. He really thought Alexandria was a place that they were all going to grow old together,
right,
and that was his glimpse of what was going to be. But it always happens, though. They
mm-hmm.
always get comfortable. They always say, we can make this a home. We can make this a home. And, you see in the show, so many people leave and they say, no, there is no home. It's never going to be like that. You just have to keep moving.
Right.
So my epic fail was kind of the same as your fail, was a lot of suspense for a third kill. I genuinely had myself convinced there was going to be a third kill. Because once you see the first one, and then, like you said, you kind of see him lingering over there, and boom, he hits Glenn. Then you're kind of like, okay, it's all done now. The
Right.
people are done. It's finished. It's over. And then I was legitimately thinking someone was going to get shot in the back of the head.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's going to happen. So when he's like, cut his arm off, or I'm going to shoot somebody. I'm like,
Or like Daryl.
here it is. Yep. Oh, yeah. Then when Daryl punched him, oh, my God. I was like, oh, my God, Daryl's getting it.
Right.
Thank God Daryl's getting it. Yes. But he did not. He said,
No.
boom. And then so I did see a funny Facebook post where it was spoiler alert, and then it had a picture of Negan standing there, and then it said everyone pulls a Glenn, and it had a bunch of garbage dumpsters where everybody else was. That was cool. Good. So finally he got his. Man, when he was getting ready to swing it, I didn't know who he was going to hit. I mean, you see Glenn. I was like, yes, Glenn makes sense. Like, I get it. But I don't know. They got two, so, hey, it happens.
Right.
So, are we going in the... You smell that? You smell that?
I can smell something.
Yeah, that's a rotten puppy. Let's get in. This is the fun part. So this is the fun part of the show. This is where we just kind of go haywire and just start yapping. So, since you are the guest, I will allow you to have first crack at your rotten potpourri.
I like that. First crack. I like that.
Oh, man. Pun master tonight.
So So my fail was, with the RV scene. So my rotten potpourri is the RV scene. Like I thought it was, there, like in the very beginning when like Rick is like, like they walk in, Negan throws him down. He's crouched down in the corner, and like the light is just shining through the blinds, and you can just see his eyes. Like the way the whole scene was shot was masterful stuff, and that's why every episode Gimple and Nicotero do together is just beautiful.
Very true. Yeah,
Oh
very
my
true.
God, every time. But like it just seemed like there was like scenes where like it seemed like real grainy, like you were watching like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or like you were watching like an 80s movie, but then it would just like go back. I don't know. But when he throws the axe out or the hatchet out, and he's like, "Go get my hatchet," and he goes out there, and like it's real foggy, and the zombies are coming, or the walkers are coming from every which way, and he's like pushing them off, and he climbs up in the RV, and he jumps and grabs onto the zombie, the walker that's hanging. And that's another thing that I thought was really cool was with the finale last year. They're trying to hit all these cut spots to get to the hilltop, and the last one where they piled up all the trees and the bridge and they hung the guy. I thought it was pretty cool, like how they went back there. I don't know what the meaning of it was. I'm sure there has to be something, but just
Okay, so a couple of things here. So when he was cowering in the corner, I thought of two things. Like a beaten dog, a broken dog, where he had to break the dog to let him know who's the master, who the alpha male is.
right.
So it made me think of that. But it also made me think of the train car, where he's looking out and that beam of light is coming across his face.
Right.
I'm like, ooh, train car. Yeah, he's going to kick some ass in here.
I like that.
So that was cool. So then I think you're right. There has to be something with coming back to the log burning.
Yeah, I never understood like what it was with that guy. Like I don't know why they made such a big deal out of the guy. They put the X on him to make sure that we remembered who he was. And I don't know what he symbolizes. I don't know like if he's somebody's brother or if he's like, I don't know what he's going to end up being, but I don't know why they keep on going back to him,
Well, the one thing that I was thinking when Rick was standing up on top of it is I think he was like triangulating a position. Like he was realizing where he was, and it was like, wait a minute, because when you're kidnapped, you're supposed to like count how many times you turn and stuff like that, and to kind of help get you in the right spot.
Right.
So I thought when Rick was standing up there and he kind of had this revelation, like, wait a minute, I know where I am. I think that's what he was doing, was he was triangulating his position, like, wait a minute, we were here, we drove to here, that's where this is. I think I know where Negan's base is.
Ah, okay. Okay. I like it.
But who knows? I could totally be wrong. It's happened before with my bold predictions. So for me, I guess the first thing for me was, Abraham, when he gets hit and he just goes, "Suck my nuts." And he stands back up into the bat, and I'm like, total.
Yes, that was awesome.
Total Abraham,
Right.
Abraham. And the thing that struck me was nobody was really freaking out when he was getting his head bashed in. Like you were watching people's faces, and they
were just like, yeah, he was kind of a dick, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a dick. But I guess it's because I guess it's because they wanted to make Glenn's more impactful, because Glenn had been around since season 1. Abraham was what, season 4, 5, right in there, 4, I think.
Yeah,
5.
4. Yeah, 4, I think. Yeah.
End of 4, beginning of 5. So I think that's why he didn't have the emotional bearing everybody else did, because for what it's worth, Glenn grew up with Rick in the apocalypse. He was just a skinny little pizza delivery guy, and then he was out banging a farmer's daughter, and now he's got a kid, So that was really surprising. And then when it finally hit Glenn with his eye popped out, and
oh my God, I couldn't believe that.
Yes.
the like I cannot believe how well they adapted the image from the comic to the screen. It was like, oh my god. And then when he was just like, Maggie, I'll find you, I was like, oh damn. I was about to start crying. I was like, no, this is tough. This is just too much. But like
Yeah,
his head, his head was all caved in the front. It was ruthless.
yeah, it was. So in my notes, I wrote gore factor times 10,
Right.
flesh hanging from the bat.
Yes, yes.
They did, and rightfully so. They had to. Everybody was so pissed off from the end of last season. Now I see why they, ended it the way they did.
Right.
So I get it. But
Yeah.
would have been cooler to show Abraham get his head hit and then he kind of stands up and says, "Suck my nuts." And then you're like, oh my God, Abraham got it. So then it starts there again, bashes it in, and then he kills Glenn as like the double, like the left and right hook.
Yeah, the way I thought it was going to play out, like I wrote it on the Facebook page, but I thought like he was going to kill Glenn because I figured that Glenn was going to die because, Glenn is, he has 9 lives. He's dodged death all these times, but it was because he was pure, like he had never killed anyone. He was like the compass of the group, the moral compass of the group, and he was almost like a Christ figure, like I was, and but then like last season when they snuck into Negan's compound and he finally ended up killing another human, I was like, oh man, it's done. It's like having sex in a horror movie, you know what I'm saying? Like as soon as that virgin has sex, the party's over with, so and so I kind of thought that like Negan, I thought Negan was going to get Glenn, and then Abraham was going to get up and try to fight, and then he was going to kill him. So when he kills Abe first, I'm just like kind of like how you said, like he starts hitting him, and I'm just like, all right, yeah, that's bogus, like I liked Abe. Abe was a good guy, Mother Dick, what the hell,
Yeah.
But then it just wasn't all that, like and then when they went on to Glenn, it was tough stuff.
Yeah, so like I keep getting texts from like my sister and stuff. It's like, oh my God, I'm crying and everything, and all this stuff. And it's just, but it was all the same. I wasn't crying in Abraham. I was crying at Glenn.
Right.
And the whole like, just I loved it where they got really in depth with what it was. And hey, here he is. He's standing, and they made it as gory as possible, so that way you felt that same set of gut wrench those people did there too. Because I even paused it, like, because I'm a morbid bastard, and I like paused it and I'm like looking at it. I'm like, oh my God, because I got a 4K TV, so I'm all like, wow, man, look at this stuff. This is freaking sweet, man. This is awesome. I love it.
Nice.
So I was all up in his grill, like checking out his hanging eye, and it was funny because then he's like, "Damn, boy, I hit you so hard, your eye popped out."
And that's all verbatim. I mean, pretty much everything that Jeffrey Dean Morgan has done has been verbatim to the comic. But I can't believe they showed that stuff on TV. Like, if this was 1988, like that would have been like NC-17. Like,
Absolutely.
It was pretty tough stuff on that.
All right, so what do you got? What's your next potpourri?
Let me see here. Oh, Carl is a beast. Carl is ruthless. Like, like Negan, like ties his arm off, and I'm just like, holy shit, they're gonna do oh my God. And then it's like, not Negan, it's gonna be Rick that he's gonna make his own father cut his arm off, and everybody's just like bawling and crying and just losing it, and Carl just looks up just like, just do it.
Just do it.
I was like, oh, he's a gangster.
Well,
like,
and then yeah, that's what I thought. The that was my third kill release was, oh my God, Negan is going to make him do it.
Right.
It's going to happen. And now Carl, poor guy, he has to, only have one hand and one eye, and it's on opposite sides. So it's just like, oh my God. Like now he's really screwed.
Suffered some, like, he's like 50 Cent. I mean, he's been shot like 9 times. My wife was like, he's going to be a pirate.
He is.
He's got a peg leg, missing arm, missing eye. But I'm telling you, if the show keeps going, Carl is gonna be, I don't know, a force to reckon with. Like he already is. Like he's one of my favorite characters of the whole show. Like Carl and Carol. I don't care about Rick. I don't care about Daryl or nobody. Like um, Carl's a beast and Carol's a beast. Like those are my favorite characters in the whole show.
Yeah, dare I say, bold prediction that I could genuinely see a point where um, Carl is the leader of one camp that does things eye for an eye. Ha!
Right.
And Rick is the leader of another camp that is, peace be with you type deals.
That would be crazy.
And they like war and raid each other and stuff, and
Oh my God, that'd be crazy.
that'd be cool. So the cutting of Carl's hand, it was cool because for the first time in 7 years, Rick finally panicked. He officially surrendered. Ever. For the first time ever, he was officially broken.
Right.
And it wasn't pretend broken like he was when he got out of the RV. And that's what I love about Negan. He's like, "You're not looking at me right.
Right. You're still not there.
You're still not there." Because he knows. He knows he's a professional. He knows I have not broken you yet. And then he did, and that's where the snot bubbles were going, and he was just screaming and he was freaking out, bawling his eyes out. And then he said, "Now you've got that look." And it's so, in a separate note I wrote down at the bottom, he now has eyes of sorrow. And it wasn't confusion like from Lori. It wasn't anger. It wasn't hysteria from, Terminus. It was genuine eyes of sorrow. Like he's broken. And that you can see it in his eyes now. And
Right.
that's the look Negan wanted.
Right. The day will come when you won't want to be alive.
That's amazing. So again, I was kind of just jotting down what people were doing. Eugene was just sitting there bawling with his face in his hands,
Right.
bawling and bawling and bawling. Go
I
ahead.
thought that he was gonna be the one who got killed. Like that was my original prediction, was because like his arc was complete. He manned up and he saved a couple lives and he sacrificed himself with taking the RV, and he gave the plans for manufacturing the bullets to Rick, and I thought he was gonna get it. But I mean, nobody would really care if Eugene died. Yeah. So. Sorry, I just cut you off.
No, that's what we do. For me, it was really about. I thought Eugene might be, and they did this. So what I really want to do now is go back and watch who we always say, well, they've completed their arc.
Right.
A lot of people completed their arc. I think that was by design. Daryl completed his arc. Rosita kind of, she bottomed out. She had nothing left to live for. Right. Abraham, obviously. Glenn, obviously, where he finally killed somebody. Aaron, where he's kind of moved on and he's taken the leadership roles. Everyone's kind of completed their arc, and Eugene was handing over those plans for the bullets, which that's going to come into play later. He's going to use that as currency, and they're going to arm all the camps together, and then they're going to go raid Negan's compound and kill him and slaughter everybody. But
I can't wait for that shit. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
That's going to be crazy. I wonder if they're going to make like a whole 8 episodes of like a war, like I said, like I'm not really big into the comics, but from what I understand, like there's this epic war that goes on, and that would be awesome if for like a whole half season all it was just like all out war, like killing people. That would be pretty tough. That would be pretty tough.
I would assume so. It's got to be something to that effect in some way, shape, or form. Because that's where the whole bullet factory comes in. It has to be. It has to be something about that.
Right.
So let's see. One thing that I didn't like was that Maggie was just being defiant. when it was all said and done, they left. It was daylight, and it was just the group. She's standing up, and she's walking, and she's trying to order everybody
To leave, yeah.
to leave.
I think she was just in shock. You know, I don't know. Or maybe she just felt responsible for her husband being killed and putting everybody in this position. You know, like everything has changed, and it's essentially her fault, or it's Enid's fault for giving her the poisoned pickles that made them leave in the first place. I'm not sure, but I'm not. But I think that was it. It was just like guilt and watching her husband just get beat to death with a baseball bat.
Yeah, that could be too. What do you got? You got anything else?
Let me look through my notes.
You ripping that vape?
You got it. You can hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah, my scotch is gone. My beer is gone. My water is gone. I got my vape, though. Let's see.
How about one thing that I noticed that was there was the guy taking the Polaroids.
Yes. I thought that was cool, too. Like, but I thought he would have died. You know, like I figured that do they pass it out like porn or something? Is it like something? Is it like a newsletter that Negan sends out to all of his followers?
Could
be. Because when they were in the compound killing everybody and they seen all those Polaroids on the wall, I figured they killed the photographer. But I guess maybe he had an underling that was his predecessor.
Or maybe it's just like you're there, so like you collect the photos. So, oh yeah, well I was there for this many kills, and you were only there for that many kills. So, I'm way cooler than you are.
collecting baseball cards. Like I wrote down the minisodes are back. I'm sure you were fast forwarding through the DVRs, but there was a new minisode for Fear that was in the
Oh
commercials.
Really? Oh, I might have to go check that out then.
Yeah, it was just it was kind of like it was like an army camp, like the Trump the Trump camp on the border. Like there was like a Mexican woman running around, but I didn't know I thought it was like a Jeep commercial at first. I'm like, what the hell is this? And then it was, but it was a minisode. I mean, I think that's about it. I'm just I'm still kind of in shock about the whole thing. I might go back and watch it again.
Yeah, I'm definitely saving mine on the DVR to kind of go back and hunt around. The one that where Maggie was trying to pick up, and that was the other part where everyone was trying to pick up Glenn. And, she's like, no, he's mine. And Rick's like, he's our family too, and that whole time though, Rick is broken. Like he just can't, now it's all coming full circle of, I'm done. I am done. The party's over, They had your epic fail. The bet you're gonna grow old together.
Yeah, the dinner scene.
Yeah, the dinner scene. Carl saying cut it off. He's our family too. So overall, and it just kind of goes back to what it is. It feels like we should have more time here. We're only at about 43 minutes, but it feels like we should be talking about more. But we didn't cover a lot of material. It was all emotion based.
Yeah, absolutely. And there really wasn't a lot going. I mean, there was a lot happened, but I don't know. Yeah, it was a really emotional episode.
So in the previews for next week, we get to see a little bit. I don't know if it's previews for next week or if it's previews for the entire season.
Yeah, they always screw with you.
But it looks like we may get a little bit of Carol Morgan action.
Yeah, with the kingdom, right? Yes, yes, we get the kingdom. I look forward to seeing that. I always thought Morgan was going to end up being what's the character's name with the having a brain fart with the tiger?
Ezekiel.
I always thought Morgan's character was going to evolve into Ezekiel, but whatever. We get a tiger either way. What's awesome is like how much money you can tell like AMC is throwing at the show, like season 5 every episode, we're at 16, 17 million viewers every time. And then in season 6, there was like it tapered off a little bit, and we're looking at like 14 million, 15 million, same day. And I think the AMC is were the execs were just kind of freaking out, like, dude, we got to do something. And they just threw a lot of money at it, and because that tiger looks pretty cool.
Yeah, they did not skimp on the CGI at all. And that's a valid point. I mean, look, it's been going for 7 seasons, so they have to come up with a new shiny, so to speak, to say, ooh, actually, hey, yeah, I'm gonna stick around. I'm gonna check this out.
Yeah, and they've already greenlit season 8. They've already came out and greenlit season 8. So
yeah, I don't see this dying. I don't see them ever canning it until you get down to about Fear the Walking Dead numbers, where it's just 5 million.
I mean, even that though, like I always hear you guys talk, just like,
well, for a summer show, 5 million is good. For a show during the actual like prime time, maybe not. But I would be interested to see what going against Sunday Night Football is.
Right.
Which I need to see how Larry Fitzgerald's doing. I keep talking. I got to pull up on my phone here.
Yeah, I just I always hear you guys like talk like with Fear the Walking Dead, like you guys talk about how the numbers are kind of like pale in comparison, and like like they're only doing like 4 million viewers. But when you look at a show like Sons of Anarchy, which was basically the best, most popular show on FX, and they at the end were doing 2.5 hour long episodes. The FX was letting the showrunners do whatever they wanted. They were doing 1.9 million. So when you have a show like The Walking Dead doing 17, 18 million people on the first night, like that's I don't see it going. I mean, it's going to be like MASH. It's going to be around forever.
Oh, dude, MASH was cool.
I just remember, I never watched it. I just remember if it was on, I was up way too late. Like I was just waiting for my parents to tell me to go to sleep. Like,
yeah, I mean, it was on when I was a wee little tyke, but then when I was in my teens, we didn't have cable for a while, so I would always catch like MASH reruns.
Gotcha.
Way late at night at like 11:30, 12, because I had a TV in my room, so I'd stay up and watch it, and it's like, oh my god, this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I never watched it. I always watched the the opening credits, and it was off to bed.
So from the previews then too, we see Rick in the church, kind of telling everybody, "Hey, I'm not in charge anymore. Negan is."
And you had Lucille like on top of the Bible or on top of the, I don't know if Negan's there and like he's introducing Negan to everybody at Alexandria, but they showed Lucille laid out across the podium or whatever you want to call it.
Well, I think he's there. I think he's going to make Rick tell everybody who he is and, hey, I'm the guy. So when I show up or my people show up to take your stuff, you give them their stuff. Now, it begs the question, is somebody else going to die? A townsfolk?
No, I mean, it could be like another main character. I mean, when you have all of these new storylines coming in and all these brand new main characters coming in, I mean, you're going to have to thin out the herd. I mean, you can't. I mean, it did like, you were talking like when we were talking about who we thought was going to die, like the third person and like Daryl might go. Like, it doesn't even seem like Daryl's been in the show for like the past, like it's thinned out so much. Like, you only get stories here and there, like they're sparsed out so much. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they killed off another main character. Like the first week they come to get something and they're a little light. Well, come here, Rosita. But I just, again, I don't think he's going to kill a woman. If Negan kills a woman, he will be labeled completely despicable. Like, nobody would ever like him. But as is right now, killing Glenn, that's sad. But my wife and her sisters were on Facebook just like, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's hot. Like, this is pretty cool. Like, I'm like, oh shit.
Well, I mean, you got to think about this. You got to think about Jesus. You got to think about Hilltop, where they're going to fit back in. But if you recall, when Jesus was telling them who Negan was, Negan bash in the head of a 16-year-old.
Exactly, and that's why I thought Carl might get it. Yes, absolutely.
So who knows what's going to happen? I mean, there's a legitimate opportunity for just. I think it would be cool to see a townsfolk get their head crushed in.
Right.
You know.
So everybody can see it. It isn't like this legend that they just a few people talk about. Like it's here you go, come and see the show. He does it in front of everybody again. That'd be pretty tough.
Yeah, because some townspeople are like, no, screw this guy, we'll just kill you and all this and that and that, or they like get up or they don't bow.
Right.
They're not doing something, and then he just freaks out and says, "Oh, you think I'm screwing with you?" Boom. So that could definitely be a possibility.
Right.
And just in case you were wondering, Larry Fitzgerald has not scored me enough points, so I am in danger of losing tomorrow night. This is not going to be cool. Not cool, friends. Not cool.
What's up with those Cubbies? Man.
So I am on board with I don't want the Cubs to win the World Series because I'm a Detroit Lions fan.
Okay.
And I made it my personal mission to root against the Cubbies as long as the Lions haven't won a Super Bowl, because if there's two big droughts in professional sports, it's the Cubs winning their title and the Lions winning the Super Bowl. So if the Cubs don't win the World Series, that's still the longest drought in professional sports. So my Lions are safe from that bad title.
Well, you hating the Cubs is quite an issue. I mean, I'm from Chicago, the Chicagoland area, and my oldest daughter's name is Wrigley. So,
cool.
We have we got a bit of a problem going on here. But last night was whatever. We ain't got to talk about sports. This is The Walking Dead.
That's okay. I talk about fantasy football and Star Wars and all sorts of stuff. So other than that, what else you got?
I think the only thing I have is I have two predictions, and I've already kind of talked about one. They're going to make Negan a good guy. In about 8 episodes, Negan is going to be everybody's favorite character. How they say it, love to hate. Everybody's going to love to hate Negan. And 2, the hatchet is the new red-handled machete. And when Negan gets it and Rick gives it to him, it's going to be a hatchet to the head. That's my bold prediction.
In the back of his skull.
Oof.
But see, I am on the side of Negan is going to go in a prison cell that Morgan is building.
Oh, yes, that is how it goes, isn't it? He goes to jail forever.
Yeah, because Morgan said, maybe when we do meet Negan, we don't have to kill one next time.
Can't stand Morgan.
I know, I hate Morgan so much.
I can't stand him.
I
can't stand him.
Or what if Rick goes on a killing spree and he does kill Negan, just like that, and then did you hear that big boing?
Was it?
Okay, no, it was just in my headphones then. Don't worry about it. It's just me hallucinating. I'm tripping. Took some bad shrooms earlier.
Oh, damn.
But it just, what if Rick goes on a killing spree and then Morgan's there and Rick kills Negan in cold blood and then Morgan locks Rick up in the prison as a big twist.
I thought that's what he was like when we seen him making his prison cell. I thought that's what he was making it for, was Rick. I thought he was gonna like kidnap him somehow. I don't know. I mean that's a total possibility. I'm down for that. That's for sure.
All right. I think I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm pretty sure because when I was corresponding with Rob Southgate, and I donated the money and stuff, he had specified that it was it was understood that I would be able to podcast with Dianne. So I think I'll be coming back. I'm pretty
You
sure.
probably will then. You probably will. That's right. Hey, the contract was there.
Yeah, I mean, contractual agreements are, I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
That's right. I agree. It's been fun having you. Appreciate it. Do you have anyone that you want to say hi, love you to, your wife? Like, baby, I love you. See, I did this for you.
She's actually staring at me right now, rolling her eyes. Like, come on, are you gonna come to bed? No, no, I'm good.
You good? Have you made peace?
I've made peace with everyone out there. I do have. Okay, quick story. All right.
Yes, I love stories.
All right, you know how you guys rate the episodes? You know, like 3.5 finger cuts or whatever. You know, paper cuts. So originally, it was the rating scale was headshots. You know, every episode you would rate the episodes by headshots, and then there was a guy named Abby Q. There was about 2 or 3 people. Dianne Maythorne. Is that even Dianne's real last name?
Maiden name maybe.
I think that she went into hiding from the mob or something, and she had like some aliases out there.
That could be.
I can't remember but I remember it was like Dianne Maythorne, me, and Abby Q, and we would always, religiously like write in reviews to the show, and Abby Q called it noggin shots. He would rate the episodes by noggin shots. So then after they were like, oh, we're gonna steal that, we're gonna start calling it noggin shots, and then I was like, well, I went back and I was listening to like the old episodes, and I was trying to figure out which episode it was where they changed the structure and started changing the rating scale. But essentially, I'm like responsible for the way you guys rate the shows. So, but it's not. It's Abby Q. So if Abby Q's out there listening, what's up, brother? You need to write in. But yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on board. Got to podcast with Jerry here on Bikers.
Yep. I really appreciate it. It was fun talking with you. It was really cool.
Cool, man. We'll talk to you again sometime.
All right, man.
Cool. Oh, wait.
What's going on?
We gotta take it one day at a time, brother.
Oh, yes. All right. So,
all right. So let's take it one dead day at a time.